Hello, Miss Hayden. This is a little video to help you practice for what we've gone over today. So let's just dive right in, shall we? So don't forget to do little warm-up exercises like the hammer-ons and pull-offs, like just doing something like this is good enough. Just making sure that you're putting pressure down, getting close to the fret, pluck in, and then adding an X finger on, pluck that one, same string, pluck that one, and then extend that pinky out, or doing one at a time like this, and then put another one, and then another one. You can also do that when you're taking fingers off. And then the other exercise of just like making sure you're hearing that. It'll help with precision. It'll help with just getting those hammer-ons on there whenever we're going to work on those exercises a little more next time. So just keep trying to do something like that. And then also the phantom exercise is to where you're just doing this. And that way you can actually feel the distance between the strings, like, and that one to that one, and then doing it back up. You know, and then you'll do it with the middle finger. And you try to do that without looking. You try to do it with just feel. And you don't really have to do it with the pinky because the pinky really only gets used for these areas, but just in case, just practice that one. Okay, so just for good measure. So now let's go over the Eleanor Rigby song, where you've got the C. Remember how I was telling you to practice individually pressing each string, or individually plucking, and then taking your finger off and then putting it back on to make sure you've got that muscle memory of, like, every time you put it back on, you get every single string. Okay, because you want that consistency. So let's go ahead and practice between the C and the E minor. So the E minor, the ring finger on top. I normally play it like this, but just for future switching from the C to the E minor, we'll do this. So ring finger on top on the 5th string, the A string, and the middle finger on the D string, all 6 strings with your pick, okay? And now let's practice switching to the C. So the hover technique that I was talking about is you're just going to leave that hovering over the string, not on it, but just over it, right? Excuse me. So C to E minor, C to E minor, just practicing like that. Kind of like the phantom exercise that we were just doing. So you're just going to like hammer them on there, and then you'll switch it to the C, but you don't want to take them all the way off. Like, you don't want them flying off the neck. You want it to leave on there and just switch from one chord to the next, okay? So now let's try doing one strum of E minor, and then hovering them up, switch to the C, 3 strings, and then put those back down, hover the index finger over the C, all 6, and switch again. So keep trying that. E minor, switch to C, hovering the finger, switch to E minor, switch back to C, hover the other fingers, and just go back and forth. 6 strings to 3 strings, to 6 strings to 3 strings. Okay, so just keep doing that. Practice that a little bit more. Go ahead and pause the video if you feel like you want to. And the next thing is to practice the palm muting. So give me like a palm mute, like one like this, not a fast one. You don't want to do that yet. Just do a nice and just strum, palm mute, strum, palm mute, and then you'll do that 4 times. Okay, and then we'll go to the C 4 times, and you did really good switching from the E minor to C. So remember, the C to the E minor is the one you'll really need to focus on. But give me 4 E minor and 4 of C. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then switch to C. Hover the other fingers. Do 3 strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then switch back to E minor. And try to do it without any hesitation. Then back to C. 3 strings. 2. And see how I'm just hovering it? And then switch back again. So just keep practicing that, and then try to do it a little bit faster when you feel comfortable. eventually your goal is to go like this. So you can see how my hand's looking. So pretend I'm holding a pick, because I usually do not use a pick. But pretend I'm holding a pick in between my hands, just like you would normally hold a pick. And then you're just, so I'm just boom, like that. And then from this angle, so you can see, boom, boom, like that, okay? So try to, and then try a little bit faster, and then get a little bit faster. And of course, go at your own pace. I'm just showing you that this is the progression I want you to eventually have. You go from as slow as this, to a little bit faster, to a little bit faster, to a little bit faster, faster, until you get to this point. That you can do it consistently, okay? That's the main key, is to do it consistently. You don't want to do it like, and then, you know, you want it to be either nice and even like this, or even like this, or nice and even like this. Okay, so that's your goal. So now try doing that E minor to C that we just did earlier with just the open strums. 4 like that, and then 4 of the C. Try to do it with the palm muting now. And do it like 1, 2, nice and slow, 3, 4, then you switch to C 4 times, 3, 4, then you go back to E minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, then back to C. You want to do it at least 4 times, like E minor, C, E minor, C. So that way you can get the hang of switching from one to the other and then back to the other one, okay? So at least do E minor, C, E minor, C. And do that with the palm muting. So then the other strum that we worked on today was the strum pattern that is universal. It's used for so many songs, okay? So let's start with the E minor, since that's the easiest one, because you can do all 6 strings. So remember, the down, down, up, down. The down, up, and the up, down are close together. You don't want to be like down, down, up, down. It's got to be down, down, up, like that, okay? So let's give it a try. All right, nice and slow, like down, down, up, down. Let's try that, okay? And if you need to pause the video, go for it, because that'll just help you get a better feel for it. And then press play, and you'll be able to keep right up. Okay, so let's try it from about that pace, like the down, down, up, down, and go. Try that again. E minor, still. Down, down, up, down. So go ahead and pause if you need to keep working on that, because now I'm going to do 2 of them back to back. Same pattern, just back to back, okay, with the E minor. Down, down, up, down. Again, down, down, up, down. All right, so pause the video if you have to. Now you can see that my arm is being like a pendulum, just like I was talking to you earlier about how your arm is pretty much always going to be moving up, down, down, up, down, down, up, pretty much like down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, or up, down, however you want to look at it. It's just always going to be moving like a pendulum. So now let's try 3 times back to back. Dun, dun, dun. Let's try it. Down, down, up, down, again. Now we should go on to the C. Now the C is a little bit more challenging because you got just 3 strings to try to aim for instead of all 6, but let's give it a try. So make sure each string resonates, and let's go ahead and do a very small pendulum movement for this one. So same pace, like down, down, up, down, and go. Down, down, up, down. Okay? So now let's try for 2 times. Ready? Go. Down, down, up, down again, down, down, up, down. Alright, if you need to pause it, go for it. But now let's do 3 times. Okay, Ready? And go. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. One more time. Down, down, up, down. Good job. Excelente. Okay, so now with that, now you got to try switching back and forth. So if you had been practicing just the down strum switching back and forth like this, the strum pattern will be a little bit more challenging, but it should be easier now to do it since you're already practicing on the other two. So let's try switching from the E minor to C, since that will be the easiest one to do first. So all 6 strings to 3 strings, and I'll go slow. About like down, down, up, up, down, like that pace, okay? Ready, go. Down, down, up, down. Now switch. Down, down, up, down. How'd you do? If you need to rewind it, go for it. But this, you're going to be using the hover technique a lot more for this part because you're switching back and forth like this a lot quicker for the down, down, up, down, then switch. Down, down, up, down, then switch. So yeah, you really need to have the hover technique pretty much down pat by this time. But go for it. Work on it, really. It's not going to be too difficult because you're a smart girl. You're getting it a lot quicker than, I mean, most girls your age for sure. So now the other C that I want to introduce to get more comfortable with, I mean, you have really long fingers for it, so I do believe that you can do it. So we've got that E minor that you're familiar with. The C, the adult C, is moving this one over and putting this one down on the C already. So you've already been switching back and forth like this. So it shouldn't be too much harder to add that one down and leave it down and then migrate this one over to the third. Now my hand is pretty much making this kind of a shape. The guitar is in between obviously, and then I'm just putting it here and boom, got a C. So you can see that I'm not straining my arm to do anything like this. I'm not just trying to really contort my body in a weird position. It's really just a matter of if you can make this shape on your hand, then you can make the C. 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 Okay? So just try that and give that a try. I'm not going to dwell on it too long on the video, but just give it a try. All you're doing is going from this position and then slightly angling your hand a little bit more to where, see how all the fingers are going that direction? They should line up in almost the same direction as your bone of your arm here. Okay? Yeah, so give that a try. Practice switching between that. The same exercises we were doing from the simple C to the E minor. Try that with this to this. So all you have to do is like C, then bring it back and pick this one up. But you're hovering it, and then you're putting that back down, and then migrating over. So it's like here, hover, then put it down, and migrate. Okay? So give that a try. If that's a little too difficult, you do need to make sure every single string resonates whenever you play the C chord, just to see how your pressure is, but it is a little bit more challenging. But if you've got pressure on this one when you do that, it shouldn't be too much more difficult to do that. But in case it is, don't worry about it. We'll work on it some more in the future. Okay, so putting Eleanor Rigby all together, at the very beginning, you're going to just do 8 strums of the C. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to E minor 8 times. Now, by this point, you should do fairly well of switching from C to E minor if you've paused the video and worked on it, that is. So it has repeat signs in that section as well, so you would do that twice. You would do C 8 times, E minor 8 times, and then C 8 times, E minor 8 times. So you do it 2 times with that section, and then you go right in from the E minor, which is where you left off, at like the 7, right into the palm mute. Now your palm mutes should be the exact same pace as your down strums that you were doing earlier. So if this is your down strum from the beginning, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. Get the idea? So if you're going this slow, 1, 2, 3, 4, then your palm mute should also be that slow. Now if you're going like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have to be real quick by that point. So don't go fast in the beginning just because it's deceptively easy. You're just sitting here going like, oh, I can downstrum, no problem. But then you have to go into palm mute land. So going like this, 7, 8 to palm mute, like that would be incorrect. So you have to keep the same pace from one section to the next. You know, just like I use Taylor Swift's Shake It Off example a lot. But you know, she doesn't go like, shake it off, oh. She doesn't go slow and then fast. She keeps it nice and even. So you have to go like 5, 6, 7, 8 to palm mute. 2, 3, 4. Okay? So you try to keep it even. Now going from the palm mute section into the down, down, up, down, that is an extra special kind of tricky because your downs that you do in the down strums, the down, down, up, down, all those downs are your down beat. So if the beat is 1, 2, 3, 4, that's what you'd be tapping your foot to, and your foot would be tapping down when you're on those beats. So 1, tap. So like if this is my foot, just to give you an example, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the pattern that it would go with it. Down, down, up, down. See how your foot is up when I say up, and it's down when I say down? Down, down, up, down. So your strum pattern of going just down, down, down into the pattern would be down, down, up, down. Make sense? Okay. If not, then we'll cover it more in person. But so you would go from the palm mute section ending, which would be 2 E minors, 2 palm mutes, into the down, down, up, down section of the E minor. So you're already, at least there, you're already making the E minor shape, so you don't have to change positions. At least there's that. So you'll be going like this, 1, 2, and then down, down, up, down. So in case it's a little too fast, let's take it a notch slower and do like palm mutes at about this pace, like down, down, and then down, down, down. Or so you can see it. So it'd be like this. I'm going to just do open, so no hands. So like this would be your palm mute. Or slower. Palm mute, down, down, up, down. So now palm mute, down, down, up, down. So you see, that's how it connects together. So try from the ending of the palm mute section, 2 palm mutes of E minor, go into the down, down, up, down part, and just see how you do on that. So like if your beat is about like this, 3, 4, you'll go palm mute, down, down, up, down. So now you try. So let's go ahead, about this pace. 2 palm mutes followed by the down, down, up, down. Okay? Ready, go. Palm mute, down, down, up, down. Good. So with that, now try to do it 2 times, the pattern after the palm mute. Because in the book, it'll be 2 palm mutes, then 2 of that pattern for the E minor, 1 pattern for the C, and then it has 3 patterns for the E minor, 1 for C, and then 1 for E minor to finish it. So let's just do the 2 palm mutes, and then 2 of the down, down, up, down. Let's try that. Ready, 2 palm mutes, and go. Palm mute, down, down, up, down, again, down, down, up, down. Now the tricky part is obviously to switch from the E minor to the simple C. So you should have this one hovering over it, just to practice good technique, just hover it there, even while you're practicing the E minor. Even if you're just practicing E minor, practice leaving that finger there to hover. So from the 2 palm mutes, let's do that, followed by the 2 strum patterns for E minor, and then switch to the C. So let's give that a try. Okay, like about this pace. Ready, and 2 palm mutes, go. Palm mute, down, down, up, down again, down, up. Prepare for the C and switch. 3 strings, down, up, down. Okay, and I'm just going on just to show you to switch back. Okay, so practice switching from the E minor to C like you were earlier, if that was still an issue to try to do that. And just try to get used to switching from like 2 of E minor to 1 of C, and then preparing yourself mentally to switch back to E minor. So that's why I was saying like, and prepare for the C and switch. So you just gotta have that in your head to switch from one chord to the next, and thinking ahead, just so you're not stuck on thinking of just the E minor. Okay? So think ahead on switching. Keep those fingers hovered. I took my fingers all the way off to show you that I was on C, just so you could see that I was on C, if that makes sense. And then going back to the E minor, you should just leave it hovered like that when you're on the C. Okay? So give that a good old try, and then we'll practice putting it all together next week, and I shall see you then. So enjoy practicing. Thank you. Bye.